Live. we are live. We are here. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Creating Classes from Fun. This is me, Alan Jones, and the gorgeous person that I will be playing with tonight, Fiona Cutts.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, Alan. Hello, everyone.
Excuse me. So I will apologise up front for my coughing fits if I have them, but you know, please excuse that. I'm sure it won't ruin your fun. Well, might add to it. You never know.
Add to the fun, yeah. What would it take to have so much fun?
Yeah.
But we end up. No, I'm not going to ask for that. I was going to say we end up coughing. Let's not ask for that. What would it take to have loads of fun tonight?
Absolutely. So, yeah, while you're tuning into the hangout, if you have any questions at all, you can go to, if you want to post them on the Facebook event page. So I should be looking at the camera. You can see I'm looking at you then. If you go to the Facebook event page that you originally signed up on, post your questions in there and we'll do our very best to answer them. We've already had some already today. But what I would like to do is start, what we would like to do is start by talking about how their hangout came about. So Fiona, tell us about fun hangouts. How did this come about for you?
Yes, I realised maybe for the last however long, maybe a year and a half, I've been creating classes on my own with other people. And sometimes it's fun and sometimes it's not. And what I realized, was that it's really, really, really fun creating with you. And also what I realized was that when we're having that fun creating, that's how the classes end up. They end up with that element of fun, that element of joy and excitement and freedom and all of that. And actually vulnerability. That was something we mentioned in our words about this hangout. It's like somehow it's always been an ease for me to be really vulnerable with you. And I don't know. And that hasn't come from really knowing you. And when we started doing this, we didn't really know each other that well. It's something, it's like it's an energy and maybe quite intangible. But somehow those elements are all there. And I was thinking, actually, this is what I love to bring into the world. And what would it take to share with other people what we've been creating? And that's not from a space that we've got it right, not at all. It's more from, actually, we've had fun doing this, and what would it take to share some of the things that we've found create more fun and ease? Actually, and I know this is way more the case for me before, often creating classes wasn't fun, it wasn't ease, it was from that space of, okay, I need some money, and so shall I put it on this day, shall I put it on that day, that kind of forced energy. And I just noticed when I come from that space of how much fun can we have doing this? And it's a very, very different energy and something very, very different gets created.
Yeah, that kind of speaks to me quite a lot, especially the bit around creating classes from a space of I need the money. It's like, for me, when I'm creating classes from desperation, as it were, like they're not fun, they don't kind of happen with ease unless I start to clear stuff around that. But yeah, initially it's like everything just seems to be such hard work to set it up. You know, like you, one of the many things I love about creating with you is it is fun, it is ease. You know, we can be vulnerable with each other. We can kind of phone the other one up and go, you know, I'm stuck with this, or this isn't working for me. So for me, it's that knowing that you and I can just play with it without judgment of each other or ourselves.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I think because so many people that I'm connected to create classes or create workshops or create something, it was like, well, and I see so many of them struggling with, you know, making their classes work. And I think that's one of the biggest things that can be our biggest downfall, is trying to make a class work.
Yeah.
And doing it differently.
Yeah, and so that's it. So even what do we mean by working? And we were talking about this before the hangout. Well, would we be prepared to mess up on the hangout? And it's the same with the classes. Would we be prepared to, well, what do we consider, there we go. What do we consider failure? What do we consider success? What if a class that only has one person in it, what if that person ends up doing every other class that we've ever done and speaking to all their friends and creating way more? And that's what I see, that it's very easy with creating these classes for something to quote unquote happen and for us to decide it's a failure. And of course, as soon as we decide it's a failure, the universe hears that, and that's what we bring into being.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's like, when you're creating anything in life, it's worth knowing and being clear about what have you decided your expectations, your projections, and all of the, all of that stuff, the definitions of whatever words you want to use, what the class is, what it should be, when it should happen. You notice all the shoulds there. How often do we should on ourselves when it comes to creating our businesses? Because let's face it, when you're creating classes, it kind of is part of your business.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people who are watching this hangout actually have even thought about that. Your business is a separate entity. And so when you're creating classes, which effectively will make you money, it's worth talking to your business and saying to your business, okay, business, what would be fun for you? What classes would you like? And, get your business to contribute as well, because it can be such a gift.
Yes. Yeah.
So, okay. So we've had some questions on the Facebook page. Shall we tackle those and start with those now, or do you want to come on to those later? What feels?
No, let's go for it. Let's go for them, and let's just follow the energy, see what happens next.
Awesome. Okay. So, sorry, excuse me. I'm trying to multitask. Haha. So Denise has put. So when it comes to generating ideas, sometimes I think my brain is empty, and I can generate ideas for other people, not myself. Does anyone else have that issue creating? So what would your response to that be, Ms. Cutts?
So, so my response would be, actually, well, is that really true? And often we can think that we're not creative. We can think our brains are empty. And sure enough, if we have that thought about ourselves, that's what can get creative. And so some things that we can ask to change that is just in the morning, just asking. So what 5 ideas can I bring into the world today? What 5 fun things can I create today? What 5 fun things can I do for my business today? And just also hearing what Denise said about, actually it's easier for other people than it is to do it for me. And so it's easier, I guess, to sort of look at somebody else, see what their strengths are, see where their energy wants to go. And so if you have that for someone else, Denise, what I would say is you can just ask to have it for yourself. So everything that you see in other people, all those strengths, talents, abilities, where their energy wants to go, however you want to put it, you can just ask, what would it take for me to see that in me? What would it take for me to see what my talents, what my abilities, where my energy wants to go? And it just allows that to come in for you.
Something else I would say there as well is, like, where have you made it so vital that creation is about creating for others and not for you? Because again, I've been working with people as a coach for years, and it's like, when I coach people, I can help them kind of get creative and really get the juices going. But when it comes to me, I know I've struggled before in the past with that thing around, oh my God, I'm not that creative for me. I'm not that important. All of that. So it's worth kind of working out, what's the difference between creating with other people or getting creative with other people as it is to kind of creating with me. And there was another piece to that, I think. What did she say there?
Actually, can I just add something? So just sort of following on from what you said, it's like, so often we don't have clarity on what we'd like to bring into the world. We don't know actually what's true for us. And we're not taught to even know what's true for us. We're taught all the academic stuff and blah, blah, blah. So we can just ask a simple question. What would it take for me to know what's true for me? What would it take for me to have clarity on what I desire to bring into the world? And just asking those simple questions without looking for the answer just allows an awareness to come in of, that's what's true for me. That's what I'd like to create and generate. And also ideas on how that can come into being.
I think that's all brilliant stuff. And I think, and also for me, what I find is if I try and sit down and try to be creative, I fuck it up. You know, I get really stressed about, oh my God, I'm not being creative, rather than just kind of asking, as you said, first of all in the morning, okay, so what can I create today that will be fun for me? What can I choose today that will be fun for me? And then I do that kind of, you know, the whole Access Consciousness 10-second increments thing. So as I'm going through my day, I'm like, okay, what else can I choose now that will be fun for me? And I find often, excuse me, that when I've asked the question, I'm not looking for an answer. I'm just looking for the awareness of what else I can do. So I might get the urge to go for a walk. So I'll go for a walk, and then I might get a couple of ideas, or I might be in the shower or cooking dinner. So something you might want to consider, Denise, and anyone else who's listening, is having a little book. Whenever you get those ideas of a class or an audio or whatever it is that you create, whatever you're creating, write it down and then ask whatever that is to let you know when it's ready for you to pay attention to.
That's great. And I was just thinking, so when I'm creating with people, and this doesn't happen with you, Alun, because it's pretty much always fun creating with you. But say I'm having a Skype call with somebody about something we're creating together, and I notice that we're going into that heaviness, then either out loud or in my head, I just say, what would it take to have more fun here? What energy can I be to have fun here? And just kind of turning that round and allowing something different in. Because as soon as we get into the heaviness, whether we're creating on our own or creating with someone else, that's what gets created next. If we're creating from that space of heaviness and force, then that's what comes into being. So just asking those really simple questions. Oh, what would it take to have more fun here? Oh, this isn't easy. What would it take for us to be way more easy with this? So it doesn't have to be rocket science. Sometimes these questions can just cut through that energy of where it's not fun.
And absolutely. What else can I choose that will be even more fun for me right now? Which is putting a little hat on. So, moving on then. So when it comes to kind of creating ideas, you know, keep a little notebook, you know, do all this stuff, ask questions, play with it. Some of the best ideas you can get are those times when you're not actually sitting down focusing on being creative. And you know, for me, I find that when I'm not trying to think about it, those sometimes are the best ideas. But I don't know about you, Fiona, but sometimes when I get those, I kind of immediately stop myself. Oh, that's a crap idea. Oh, that will never work. Or, oh, I can't do that. Or da-da-da-da-da-da. You know, I don't know if that, does that happen for you?
Yes, and it happens less as time goes by, so how's it going than that? And I'm way, 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 way quicker at noticing it and interrupting it. And Access is brilliant for these little questions. Okay, so you notice yourself thinking, I'm not good at that. Immediately it's like, what else is possible? Or is that really true? What can I choose different here? So just those little questions can just really, really interrupt that stuff that goes on. I'm no good at this. I'll never bring that into fruition. Other people can do this and I can't. As soon as you hear that kind of stuff, just interrupt with one of those little questions, and they can be miracle questions.
Yeah, a question that literally comes into my head as we're talking about this is, what do I love about stopping myself that keeps me from being the creative genius I truly be? Whew. And everything that brings up.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant.
Let's destroy and create it all. Right, wrong,
Yeah.
good, bad, pod, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And sorry, I forgot to say, if anyone listening to this call is not familiar with Access Consciousness, that was the amazing clearing statement. Sorry, my head's just cleared everything out of my head. It's the amazing clearing statement that you can find out more about at theclearingstatement.com. So, yes, so let's have a look. What else does she say? So, right, so I've got this idea. Hooray! Woohoo! And then I spend so long procrastinating over it. I look on Facebook and someone else is doing it. So why should I bother? Because I've never done that, you know.
Okay, so a couple of things to say there. If you have a great idea, and thing is, when we have an idea, we're all connected, and so as soon as we've had the other idea, everyone else in the universe could have that idea. So what you can do is make the idea infinite, and then it's just there for you to use when you want to use it or when you're ready to use it. So that's one very good tip.
Can I ask you a question about that? When you say make infinite, what does that mean? How do you do that?
So with these energies, you can just ask for it. So you've got your idea and you can just say, idea, please will you become infinite? So it can be that simple. You just ask for it to happen.
And what does that
mean? Thanks for asking that. So it kind of, what you're saying, it kind of expands it out so it's so huge that nobody else can perceive it. Is that what you're... Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's my sense of it. Yes. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. And, you know, on that note, something else that I've, something that might be slightly connected to this, Denise, and I don't know if this is true for you, but when I have an idea, when I used to get a really good idea about something, I would want to share it with people to see if they thought it was a good idea. And sometimes they did, and sometimes they're going, oh no, that wouldn't work, and blah blah blah, and that's really crap, and they would put all of their energy of stop onto it, and I would go away thinking, oh well, I won't bother then. So again, one of the tools I love when I'm doing creating now is just for me, it's just for fun, never tell anyone. And for me, it's like a lesson until it's ready to launch, or I get awareness from whatever it is that I'm creating that actually I require to speak to somebody else, that I need their input or something. So don't you know, we get excited, we're like little children, oh my god, I'm going to the fair, and then it rains, so you don't go to the fair, and then you look stupid. So just for me, just for fun, never tell anyone.
And I just want to pick up on a couple of other things there. First of all, the procrastination word, the dreadly procrastination word, which I'm very familiar with. And a question you can ask is, who or what are you waiting for that if you didn't wait for it would allow you to create everything you desire right away? And just asking that question can cut through that energy of procrastination. And another thing you can do is, so if you have a project and you notice you're procrastinating, you can just kind of keep it simple by just asking this question. So what 3 things can I do that would get this project going? What 3 things can I do to get things going with this right away? And it just keeps it simple, because if we've got a massive project, then we can be like, oh my God, there's so much to do and I don't know where to start. And if you tune in with the project or the class or whatever it is, and it's just like, what 3 things can I do right away? What simple things can I do? And it might not even be 3. It might be, 3 might sound a bit ambitious to you. So it might be, what 1 thing can I do today that will get this going right away? And it just allows you to tune into what needs to happen next. And it may not be linear. We often think that creation is linear. So if I do A, and then B, and then C, D will get created. And everything around us, society and all the books on how to create, how to do things will tell you that, the 3-step master formula to having more people in your class than you can count and all that kind of stuff. And actually, what if it's not like that? What if it's not A, B, C, D, E? What if it's A, Z, X, Y? And what if what gets created when we're from that sort of more random space, if you like, what if what gets created is way, way more? Yeah,
yeah.
you're nodding, because that's what I love about you as well. You're not an ABCDE person at all, and I love that about you.
No, I jump from one place to another, and and I used to try and do linear, and I used to try and make it work for me, and I used to get so stressed when everything wasn't linear. And of course, life isn't linear. It just isn't. You know, while I was, the amount of different pieces of technology I had to learn to use to get people to sign up was just fantastic, and I was doing 3 different things all at the same time while I was learning that. It was great. So just one other piece that I would love to add to that, Fiona, as well, is when I find I'm procrastinating, sometimes it's because I don't have enough information.
Yes, yeah.
So it's like, is there any other information that I require that will help me create this with ease?
Yes.
Because sometimes it is just that one vital piece of information, like, actually, nobody, the information might be nobody's interested in that hangout. Okay. or
apart from you, apart from us.
Apart from me and 4 other people. So, or it might be actually, the information, the required information is that actually on this date there are 6 other hangouts happening, and therefore that's why it's not kind of coming together. Okay, so what would create the most?
Yeah.
And again, it does, for me, it does come back to, I know it is about treating life very differently, but everything that you create becomes an entity of its own, and it has an energy and a consciousness of its own. So if you're feeling stuck with something, have a conversation with it, play with it. So, hey, hang out, what would this take to be more fun? What else do you require? Who else would like to contribute to making this happen? And then, of course, pulling energy into creative energy, into what it is that you're creating, and then just trickling it out to everyone and anyone and anything who can contribute to you creating and actualizing what it is that you're creating. So, and don't make yourself wrong when you do procrastinate. Just notice.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to add one more thing from Denise's question. So she was like, I look on Facebook and one person's doing it already, or 10 people are doing it already. And what I would love to say to that is that we're all unique. So it may seem as though someone is doing your very idea, but are they really doing what you're doing? You're unique. You have a unique energy and your uniqueness to bring to everything you do. So just because someone appears to be doing something similar, don't stop yourself. You will appeal to a different audience to that person.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm so glad you picked up on that, because that was another thought that kind of came in my head. So.
I've got so many thoughts coming in. It's like all the questions so far are brilliant, and it's like all this stuff coming in. So what would it take to just, remember it all and get it all out there to you?
Absolutely. We're pulling the information from your heads as you're watching this, people. So yeah, I think there is that thing around, people come to a coach or a facilitator or whatever it is that you do, and there are hundreds and thousands of these people in the world doing this. So they come to you because of the energy that you are and the energy that you're contributing to them, which is different to the next person. So it isn't about competition, it's just about being whatever is required. So Simone Molasses and Jonas Jonas Svensson, is it? That's name. They're doing a whole set of teleseries on creating classes at the moment, which is just fantastic. I've heard some snippets from it, and they are brilliant. And so like they're appealing in one way, and what we're offering is something that's just slightly different. So it's worth having a look at what would create the most to be the greatest contribution to you. And when you're creating, as Fiona said, what you contribute is going to be different to what somebody else is. And, it doesn't necessarily mean that yours is going to be a complete failure. If even just one person shows up to this hangout and gets something out of it, it's not, even if nobody shows up to this hangout,
we're still having fun.
I'm still having fun, and I'm still clearing stuff for me. So fuck them. Everyone's going to run away from the class. Oh,
Can I add one more thing about competition
yeah.
and out creation? So in Access, we sometimes talk about out creation. And out creation is when we see what someone else is doing and we think it's amazing. And we're like, what would it take for me to out create that? So it's a generative energy. It's not saying competition somehow is like that, oh, why are they doing that? Oh, that kind of energy. And out creation is, wow, I love what they're doing. What would it take for me to have some of that? What would it take for me to out create that?
Mm.
And sometimes the out can be hard for people to get. Sometimes people say, oh, is it competition? Is it out creation? And what I would say, if things are growing for you, then that's a sure indication that you're doing out creation. If you find that your classes and your business and your life are stuck, not going forward, then that's an indication you're doing competition, because competition is not a generative energy. I know, useful tip.
That's a great way of looking
Yeah,
at it.
yeah.
Everything's contracting, you're competing.
Yeah, yeah,
Creating.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, that's the thing. It's like, where can we be an inspiration for each other for what we're creating?
Yeah.
Awesome. Ha ha.
Yes.
How does it? How does it good? I'm gonna look like a dog. Ha ha. Sorry, next question then.
Yeah, you made yourself cough.
I've dogged off. So she has. So Denise goes on to say, "I'm filled with a sense of overwhelmment, and I bottle it. Nothing gets started, middled, or finished." And I've been there before, where I've had an idea about something I'd like to create, and just got completely overwhelmed by how much work I think has to be involved, how much I think I don't already know. How much I think it may cost me. Is it? All of that stuff. And then I just go, oh my God! And I find all of these, they're excuses to stop myself. Again, it's stopping.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
what immediately comes to mind with that is one of the first tools that we learn in Access, and maybe some people are on who haven't even heard this, but one of the first things we talk about is how much we pick up other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So that's overwhelm. How many people in the world, particularly people who are self-employed, people who are trying to make money, trying to get out there, how many people are overwhelmed? How many people are trying to figure out how to get started, what to do? And so the question, really simple question you can ask if you find yourself in that overwhelm is just, is this mine? Is this overwhelm even mine? And if you find that it isn't, and when I say find, if you have a sense somehow that you feel a bit lighter, a bit more expansive when you ask, is that mine? Then you can just say, please go back to sender with consciousness attached. And it just allows space for you and what you know. Because if you're in overwhelm, then you're not able to access your knowing. You're not able, you literally can't tell how to get started.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's the first thing I'd say to that.
Mm-hmm. And definitely with that. So first of all, can an infinite being ever be overwhelmed?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I kind of ask myself when I hear myself saying, oh, I feel really overwhelmed. Something I will then do is, okay, barriers down, expand. Those are two things that I say to myself. So, I find that I get overwhelmed when I try and contract into this. I think I'm this little body, this tiny little body. Yeah. It's like, oh my God, how can I possibly do that? Okay, I'm an infinite being. I have resources at my disposal. Expand, expand, expand. And energetically, your energy will expand with the minute you say that anyway. So it's not a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what else? And so PodPoc everywhere I've decided I'm overwhelmed. And at PodPoc everywhere I've decided I can be overwhelmed.
Do you want to say something about PodPoc in case there's anybody who he doesn't get that?
The clearing statement, in case you don't know it, the whole thing is right, wrong, good, bad, POC Pod, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. And POC Pod is kind of the shortened version for the whole clearing statement. So to shorten it, I would say PodPoc that rather than...
Yeah, great.
Find out clearingstatement.com or accessconsciousness.com.
Yeah,
definitely.
Great. Yeah.
So,
and what else would I say there? So overwhelm is absolutely that contracted energy. So as you say, barriers down, expand out. And I would also say overwhelm is also that place where we buy the lie that we have to know how to complete something before we started it. And it's like, and so again, just asking these simple questions. What can I be to move this along right away? What 3 steps or what 1 step can I take that can change this right away? Or if I weren't feeling overwhelmed, what would I do now? What would I choose now? If I weren't feeling overwhelmed, what would I choose for this project now? And it may not, or it most likely isn't linear. And sometimes in Access, we talk about following the energy, which is exactly that sort of A, Z, X, Y energy, sort of jumping from place to place. And people are like, oh, how do I follow the energy? What does it mean to follow the energy? And actually, you can just ask, what would it take to follow the energy with this project? Just simply, and the time when you know you're not following the energy is exactly then when you're in that overwhelm, when you have all that sort of stuck stuff in your head. Because actually, if you've got a headache or multiple thoughts going around and you're in your head, you're not following the energy. So just noticing that and asking to change it.
Absolutely. And something else I've noticed as well is, whilst I said we're not just our physical bodies, our physical bodies can be an amazing contribution to what we're creating. And if I'm feeling contracted in my body, then I might actually say, okay, body, what contribution can you be here for this? Just to see what happens. And, curiosity is in whatever I'm creating is the biggest thing. Curiosity, what else, and what else is possible, and what else is possible, and how much easier can it be, and who contribute, and body, how much more fun can we have?
Yes. And I think you said this before, but I just want to add this. Sometimes if things are stuck, then it can be, who can I talk to that can help me move this on? And it may be somebody who comes involved with it, or it may just be, that person has done something similar, or it may be completely random. You just get a sense that somebody can help you or have an idea or something. And so just asking something that can move it on. And I would say, actually, anytime you're stuck or in overwhelm, just ask any question. Any question will start to expand things and take you out of the rabbit hole of your mind.
Yeah, because head tripping, of course, I've never head tripped before and gone round and round and round and round and round and round in circles. But
me neither.
Yeah. And when I find I'm in that head tripping space, again, I use one of the Access tools. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be.
Oh yeah, good one.
Nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be, and I repeat that over and over again.
Until your mind dies.
Until my mind dies, and I just walk around like a brain dead person. So. All right, so last question from Denise is, I don't understand how to advertise and market myself and the courses I want to create, and this fills me with inertia. So, excuse me. What you got to say there, Fiona?
Yes, so what I would say there is, Denise, energetically, so what have you decided advertising marketing is? So, so those words, advertising, marketing. So when I first became an energy healer and set up my own business, those words filled me with horror. It was like, oh my God, I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. And even if I did know how to do that, I don't want to do that, because for me, advertising, marketing was pushing stuff at people, and it was having slick tricks to force people to buy it, whilst I was sort of feeling a bit about it all. So let's just do this. Anything and everything we've decided marketing and advertising is, should we let go of that, destroy and uncreate that?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Right and wrong, good and bad, hot and pock, all 9 short stories and beyond. And what that does is, so letting go of everything we thought it was, everything this reality will tell us it is, all those people on Facebook, those clever marketeers who put their ads there telling you that if you do their thing, they'll, you have 33 clients in the next 3 hours. All of that stuff that we think marketing is. If we just let go of all of that, then we're free to do it however we like. And what I see more and more so a lot of us, I guess, on this hangout will be doing access classes or access business or creating a business that is kind of us in a way. It's like, for me, creating these access classes is like it's like it's me, it's my life. And so 24/7, I'm quote unquote advertising or marketing access. It's like when I'm at my dance class, it's like people might be, oh wow, she's dancing different from how she did before. She's more in her body or whatever. It puts a question in their world. Or even what I've created recently is this sort of uncontrollable laughter for no reason with complete strangers. So how many people are doing that? So if we allow ourselves to be us and we're in that space of laughing and smiling and being us, it puts that question into other people's universes. And that space of when we're just being us and people, and we're more allowing ourselves to be that joy, that fun, then people see that and they're like, oh, what's she got? What's he got? What would it take for me to have some of that? What do you do? Oh, you do that? Oh, that's interesting. So just creating that energy. Actually, what if marketing and advertising is more about that? And how much more fun is that?
Absolutely. And I think for me, all of that, it is about, because fun is such a key thing for me in my life, and and it has been much more so ever since I came across the stuff with access consciousness. So when it comes to, and like you, Fiona, this whole thing around advertising and marketing and PR, and you have to have your brand and you have to have your your niche and all of that kind of stuff. It's like, oh my God, what's my niche? Who am I going to work with, and who am I not going to work with? And does that mean I can't work with these people if I say that as my niche? And I'm like, do you know what? I will coach anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
And it's like, talk to your business.
Yeah.
So I'm going to come back to that again. It's like, where does ask your business? Have a business meeting with your business. Imagine sitting in a meeting with your business and going, okay, where would you like to be advertised? Who would you like to advertise you? What would be most fun in terms of advertising for you, or kind of getting your name out there? And as Fiona was saying, and the same for me, everything I do has access kind of tools running through it. So any conversation you have with anyone potentially is an advertising for what it is that you're doing and that you're offering. So when it came to this Google Hangout, Fiona and I were like, okay, so where does the Hangout want to be advertised? What would be fun for it? So we advertised in a number of different places, just very, very simple, on Facebook and outside of Facebook too. Because I think the other thing I find with a lot of people is they think that they get caught up in Facebook as being the only place to advertise. And it's not. There is a world beyond Facebook.
Really? Thanks for telling me.
They'll probably kick me off if they ever hear this. So, hey, if I get banned from Facebook, you know why. It's like, and so when it comes to the wording, what words does the Hangout want to use to describe it? What title does it want? What pictures does it want to go with it? And these are the questions that constantly go through my head when I'm creating things. I'm having this kind of constant dialogue with what it is that I'm creating, and who else would my business like me to speak to today? And get your business to pull energy from all the people that it would like to do business with, or receive money from, or create with. Because again, remember, your business is an entity, as are your classes, and they want people to come along to them as well. So it's a kind of it's a big playground of possibilities. No plug there for my radio show. So there you go. You see, I'm advertising my radio show.
So I'd just like to add to that. And I am going to talk about Facebook and posting on Facebook. And what I'm noticing more and more is that, or what I'm choosing more and more, is to post on Facebook when I'm in that bright, expansive energy. So it's like, okay, so today I just had a conversation about a class in Cambridge with lovely Marina, and it was like, okay, we're having fun, we're laughing. I mean, it was non-stop laughter and fun. And I was like, okay, so from that space of that fun, let me just write, you know, come on the hangout tonight. I've just been having fun creating a class, and you know, from that space, the energy comes through. And so even people who say that they know nothing about energy, understand nothing about energy, will get the energy that comes through the words on Facebook. And probably we all know ourselves that we can write very similar things and get sort of 3 likes or 83 likes. And it's the energy. People will pick up on the energy of what we're writing. And if you're in the space of not being in the energy and you feel that, you know, you get that you'd like to post, then just ask for the energy. Just wait until you have more of that energy before you write anything. And sometimes what I do, say that I'm writing about Right Voice for You, I'll just ask for the energy at the end of the classes, the last Right Voice for You classes that I've created. You know, that moment at the end of the class where everyone's super happy and really loves you? Just ask for that energy and ask for the words to be infused with that energy, and that's what can come more into the words. And only write it when you have a sense of you expanding. Don't sort of force it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing, is when I know that when I try and so for instance, I was doing the write-up for the radio show for Monday, and she's going to be called "Go On, Play With Yourself." So and so as I was sitting there, I was a little bit stuck about what to write for the feature, which will kind of be the PR advertising for next week's radio show. And I just sat there, okay, radio show, what would you like me to write? And then the words came, and I sent it off to the 2 people who are going to be involved in the radio show, and I went, yeah, that's brilliant. So yeah, it's that, you know, ask whatever it is that you're creating. And I know it sounds strange. When you get out of your own way, that's the thing. It's like when we get out of our own way, going, I'm not really that. So every time you hear yourself saying, I'm not really that creative, is that true? Is that true?
Yeah.
And then PodPok everywhere, you've bought that as yours. And, you know, I'm not very good with words. Okay, is that true? And if you know that actually that's not something that's fun for you, you might want to ask, what would it take for writing my, you know, kind of bios or whatever it is, or the profiles to be more fun for me? Or who can I connect with or hire that it is fun to do that? So who can do that for me, that's fun for them, so that we can both make money from it? Because that's the thing, it's like getting someone to do stuff that they love, that is fun for them, leaving you to do the stuff in your business that is fun for you.
Yeah.
You can both make money from it. So how does it get better than that?
How does it?
How does it? So I hope that helps, Denise. You know, anyway, any more questions? Just a shout. So let's move on. So Rachel said. Rachel says it feels easier to fail, like that's more acceptable to people as it doesn't question their status quo. How do I accept judgments when my business is fun and light and successful and easy? My first response to that first bit is, in this reality, to succeed, you have to fail. So create beyond this reality. But I'm going to chuck that to you, Fiona, and let you start with that one.
My mind's gone blank. How's it going? You better not.
Have a beard. That might kind of wipe you
blank. Can you give me a few words for me to
Yeah, so it's like, how do we accept judgments?
Oh, yes.
This is fun and successful. We don't like that.
Yeah, okay, great. So, Rachel, the first thing I would say is that everything we're doing in Access, all the clearing that we're doing, all the stuff that we're letting go of, as we let go of stuff, we become more of ourselves and more able to allow in the judgments of other people. So in a way, everything we're doing in Access is kind of one of the side effects of the clearings, if you like, is that we become more of us, and we become less concerned with what other people think of us, and we become more able to choose for us regardless of what other people are saying and doing. And there are specific questions that we can ask that can, well, that can address that specifically. So, um, let me think, or not think. What would it take for a fantastic clearing company with total ease? So, what energy, space, and consciousness can you all be to invite in way more judgment with total ease? So anything that doesn't allow you to invite in that judgment and to be okay with that judgment, are you willing to destroy and uncreate all of it?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Right and wrong, good and bad, common, cool, natural, closed, beyond. And that's sort of, it's like it's the last thing that we'll think of doing. Normally we hide away from judgment. So actually, it's like that question, it's like inviting in the judgment and then clearing anything that doesn't allow it to receive it, us to receive it with no point of view. Mm. And another thing we can do when we post something on Facebook about, oh, my class is amazing, it's wonderful, and I know I'm making so much money and loads of people keep coming, and then somebody writes the barbed comment, and we go, oh, I just want to contract, and I'm never, ever, ever going to post on Facebook again, and nobody's ever going to see how brilliant I am ever again. So in that moment, that's when you need to ask the question, and it can just be one of the tools we use in Access is interesting point of view. It's like, oh, interesting that I'm responding like that. That's interesting. Interesting that I'm giving that person more power than me. It's like, because that's what we do with judgment. If someone comes in and judges us and we make ourselves wrong, then we're making that person's point of view more important than having us, more important than creating what we want to have in our lives. And how crazy is that? So just ask it, bringing awareness to it can often change it. And it may need a question as well to really change it. So what stupidity am I using to make other people's points of view and judgments more important than me? So everything that brings up, shall we just try and create it? Right and wrong, good and bad, positive, cool, nine short boys and beyond. And another one, what have I made so vital about never receiving judgment that I'm stopping creating my life?
Yeah.
So everything that brings up, shall we destroy and uncreate it?
Yes, indeed.
Thank you. Right and wrong, good and bad, boys and beyond.
Because the thing with judgment that I love is, there's a couple of things really. One of them is, judgments actually create money for you. And it sounds strange as it sounds, for every judgment you're willing to receive, you're popping in $5,000 into your bank account. And for every judgment you're unwilling to receive, you remove $10,000 from your bank account. Ha ha. So it's worth bearing that in mind. So every time someone judges you, you can do absolutely with, as Fiona says, interesting point of view, they have that point of view, and do that in your head. That's what I do quite a lot when I see someone judging me. And, I notice that we live in a judgmental world, so it happens a lot. Interesting point of view, they have that point of view. Interesting point of view, they have that point of view. And remember, judgments are not always just kind of potentially negative. How many judgments do people have of you that you've also pushed away and are unwilling to receive? Like, that was brilliant. Thank you so much, you're so awesome. And you go, oh, it was nothing. No, it was nothing. Yeah. And not only putting yourself down, you're also taking $10,000 out of your bank account. So for every judgment somebody chucks at you, it's all an interesting point of view, all of it. Even the nice stuff, it's just a judgment, it's just a point of view. So interesting point of view, they have that point of view. And my friends left the platform and left me behind.
So I was going to say, I see you playing with that on Facebook. It's like I get the sense that you're kind of deliberately putting out stuff that then people will judge. It's like, so what if we could have fun with that? What if we could play with that? Because that's like kind of the opposite of how we think it should be. What if we can be so easy with judgments that we can deliberately invite it in, that we can deliberately create it, and it energizes us. Actually, judgment is just an energy. So if we're able to just allow it in with no point of view, we can actually transform it into energy for us.
Absolutely. And yes, I know I do post quite controversial.
I thought you did. I had observed that, Alun.
Yeah. So the other thing as well about this whole kind of judgment thing, and it keeps kind of popping in and popping out, popping in and popping out. So what would it take for me to have this thought directly in my head? If I weren't resisting and reacting to this judgment, what would I choose? What would I choose beyond this if I weren't resisting and reacting?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, so now I've, in the last, I think 2 months, more than ever before in my life, when I've noticed people judging me, I'm actually really grateful. I'm going, do you know what? Thank you. Thank you so much for that $5,000 you've just given me. And what would it take for that to show up with total ease as if by magic? So there you go for that one, Rachel. So when I'm excited, sometimes I sense that I push energy rather than pull it. And I wonder if that's too pushy and puts people off. Okay. What say you, Ms. Fiona?
So, okay, so excitement, that's like, for me, that's kind of an infectious, enthusiastic, fun energy. So if that's really what you're being, then my sense is that you're inviting people rather than pushing at them. That would be my guess there. So sometimes, so often, you know, if you go to a networking meeting and people are talking, you know, say, oh, well, I sell dog food and it's blah, 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 blah. I mean, how excited are they about the fact that they're selling dog food? So it's like, if you're really excited about your class and you're like, wow, I mean, how many people in this reality are actually excited and enthusiastic and in that joy of, that space of joy about what they're doing and what they're creating? And so we can be told that there's something wrong with that. So anywhere and everywhere, we're making ourselves wrong because we're too happy, we're too expansive, we're too joyful, we're too excited, and other people can't take that. Should we just let go of all of that, destroy and create all of that?
Yeah, definitely.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pop and pop, all angels, boys and beyond. And anywhere that we've been told you're too much, you need to tone yourself down, all of that kind of stuff. Should we just let go of that, destroy and uncreate that?
Yes.
Thank you. Right and wrong, good and bad, pop and pop, all angels, boys and beyond. What if we could be the people who go into the networking meeting having fun? What if you know, we could be the one in the networking meeting? Everyone's like, oh, who's she? She's having fun. You know, everyone in their grey suits and whatever. And yeah, so that's my sense with that question. And the other thing is that you can actually ask, so if you sense, oh, am I kind of a bit pushing, you know, so it's like, so you have this class, you're really excited about it. So when you're talking about it, you can either be in that space of, wow, this class is amazing, I've gained so much from these classes and I know that I'm great at facilitating them, would you like some of that? And the sort of there's no point of view behind that. It's like, and you know, I'd love it if you came, but equally I don't care if you don't, I'm going to have fun whether you're there or not. So that's kind of a complete invitation energy. And maybe where the question is going is when we're in that space of, wow, this class is great, and actually I really need you to come, or, you know, whether it's because of my money or whatever that is. And when we're in that space, that's obviously, that's not the invitation space, and that can be a bit of that. I mean, I always think of used car salesmen pushing energy, you know, kind of saying so much that, you know, that we're kind of bombarded by the information. And you can just ask, you know, am I bombarding people? Am I being an invitation? And you'll know whether you are or not. And if you get the sense, oh yeah, I am a bit, then you can just say, well, what can I take to change this? What would it take to have no point of view about whether this person comes to my class or not? Just ask for that, and sure enough, that will come in.
Question I love with, so I did a hangout last year with Mew Södergren, and it was about being irresistible. And since then, one of the questions I ask when I'm creating classes or anything else is, what energy, space and consciousness of irresistible invitation can I be with total ease?
Beautiful.
And then I destroy and uncreate everything that doesn't allow that. So right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pop, boys, meals. And I love playing with that because it's like, yeah, irresistible invitation. And something else that I pick up on there that you mentioned is am I creating this from need? Because who the hell wants to go to a class with a needy facilitator? It's like, fuck, you must be joking. And people can pick up on that energy. So if you're in that, I need people to come to my classes, I need people to come to my classes, and you know, it's like they're just going to pull out of it, they're going to pull away. And that's why, if you've noticed you're in need, okay, so what stupidity am I using to create the need I am choosing?
Mm.
And then destroy and uncreate that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What am I creating? What energy, space, and consciousness am I trying to create from?
Yeah, beautiful, yeah.
And then get the awareness of what that is, and what energy, space, and consciousness would you like to create from? So what energy, space, and consciousness can I be to create this from? Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then last one, she says, I hold myself from creating back. I hold myself back. Slow down, Alan. I hold myself back from creating too much in case I can't cope. Possible here. And I think, well, first of all, I find that I can't cope when I don't have enough creating going on. I don't know about you, Fiona, but if I'm not creating enough, I'm start creating crap, and then that's really
yeah. We're obviously picking thoughts from each other's head, because I was going to be, so what can I add to my life? What can I add to my business? And I mean, that has been a massive thing for me. I mean, some of you know I used to have fatigue, and then recovering and feeling loads better, but still with that point of view, I need to be careful. I can't do too much. And what I notice more and more now is that I'm way happier when I have a lot to do. I procrastinate way less when I have a lot to do. I mean, this week I'm fortunate enough, I've been in Dublin and I'm going to Venice. I've got 3 days when I'm home. It's like I've got so much to do. And it's like, I've just been doing it so quickly. It's like, so I've got an hour, so I just typing at the speed of space and just getting everything done. And I'm so much happier when I'm in that space. And it's true for me as well, that when I have a lot of free time, and I then can go into creating crap. Obsessive compulsive creation of crap, OCCC we call it. So, can you remind me again of the wording of Rachel's question, because there was more there as well.
I hold myself back from creating too much in case I cannot cope.
Yeah.
And and I think, can an infinite being ever really not cope? And it's like, and how many, I don't know about you, Fiona, but I am one of those people that has like 6 different screens open on my computer, and I am doing, I'll be writing an email to someone, I'll be doing, which is what I was doing earlier on. I was doing an email, I was Skyping with somebody, messaging, and I was writing the write-up for the radio show, and kind of responding to people who are asking to come to the hangout, and behind me asking me that. I'm like, and all of this stuff was going on, and actually I wasn't overwhelmed at all.
Yeah, beautiful. And so I know, Rachel, so another question I would ask is that even your point of view, Rachel? It's like, how many people around us will tell us, and this was the case for me, even before I got fatigued, it was like, oh, don't do too much. Oh, wow. I mean, a number of people who've told me with my business, wow, you're doing so much, you must be getting tired. Wow, you're doing all those different things. Aren't you supposed to be specializing? Wow, you're doing so much. And it's like, well, what does that bring up for them when they're not creating so much? And so those points of view, when we hear them in the head, the first thing to ask, is that even my point of view? And then, as you say, second thing, with an infinite being, be overwhelmed. And then just asking, I'm very much like you. I have loads of things open, I'm doing loads of things at once, and I'm way happier when I'm creating like that. So all this kind of mindfulness, doing one thing at a time, actually that isn't what works for me. And I know that that's not what works for a lot of people in Access. So it's just seeing what's true for you and choosing what's true for you, and just knowing that people around you, sure enough, if you're starting to create more and do more and create more money and be more happy and have an amazing life, there are going to be people around you who don't like that. And people will find loads of indirect ways of stopping you. And you can take that into your head and then stop yourself. So anywhere and everywhere that we're doing anything like that, where we're taking other people's stuff and turning it against us, using it as our justification for stopping ourselves, shall we stop doing that?
Yes.
Thank you. Right and wrong, good and bad, problems, I'll go on and beyond.
Because I don't know about you, but quite often when there are people around me saying, you can't do that, it's not possible for you to do that, I'm like, fuck you, I'm going to go and do it anyway.
Yeah.
And and there is that that sense of, well, am I really willing to allow somebody else to be greater than me in the creation of my life? You know, why would I choose that? What on earth is the value of letting other people be greater than me in the creation of my life? You can either be at the effect of creating your life, or you can choose to create it. And you know, when we're not trained, we're not taught as children that we are the creators of our life. It's like, well, you know, that's the way life is, and you just have to fit in. What if you don't? What if you don't? And what if you've always known that you don't have to? Because if you're listening to this Google Hangout, you're going to know there's something different about you than a lot of people. Because
it's still listening now. Likelihood is something different about you.
So yes, we're running out of time.
Running out of time.
So we've been on for an hour, and that's just gone really, really quickly.
Really quickly. Are there more questions, Alan? Or
those are the only questions we've been given, and you know, they've actually kept us busy for a whole hour. So, is there anything else that you would like to say to people in terms of creating from fun, whatever it is they're creating?
I can't think of anything. There we go. Yeah. Actually, what's coming to me is just to say again, so often these tools. So actually, I do have things to say. So you reminded me. So 2 things to say. So often the tools in Access are so simple. And so actually, if you want to create a class with fun, then ask, what would it take to create this class with fun? And destroy and uncreate anything that doesn't allow you to create a class with fun. If you're creating with someone else, what would it take for me to find the class with? So it doesn't have to be rocket science, just asking for that. You know, when you and I started working together, I was just asking the question, who else can create Right Voice for You classes with me, and what would it take to find somebody who isn't afraid to speak out and who would like to have fun too? And you know, almost immediately your name came, although I scarcely knew you. And it's like, so we can just ask for that.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, similar to you, one of the things that I constantly ask is, who else can I play with that will be fun to play with and create with? Or who else can I create with that will be fun, and that it will be fun, phenomenal and rewarding for us both and for everyone involved?
Yeah.
So what would it take for everyone who's been watching this Hangout either live or later for this to be an amazing contribution to you having more fun in your life and shitloads of money? You know, that's what, because money follows joy, not the other way around. So if you're creating from a space of I need the money, where the hell is the fun in that? So if you go, what can I create that's fun and will make money for me, and do it that way? And that's what I tend to ask. What else can I create that's fun for me and that will also generate money for me with total ease, as if so
beautiful,
And so, of course, you know, Fiona and I are both here. We both do sessions via Skype or face-to-face or whatever, you know. We're here if you want sessions with us to help clear this stuff, to help you tap into your creative potential, because that's what's fun for us. It's fun.
It is fun for us. And actually, I am just going to plug for class Right Voice for You, which Alun and I are creating again in London and in various other places. So Right Voice for You is a creation class. It's absolutely about creation. It's about finding your voice, finding the words that can express what you want to bring into the world. So it is very much in this territory of creation. So that's my little plug. And we love Right Voice for You. It's a fun class.
So when are we doing that?
We're doing it in May, the end of May in London, and April in Cambridge.
Awesome. So, and do you have details of that on your website at the moment, Fiona?
Yes, I do. Yeah. So if you just go to my website, fionacutsenergyhealing.co.uk, if you look under the events, then you'll see all the classes, including the Right Voice for You classes.
Brilliant. So there you go. Go and, I mean,
There we go.
yeah, absolutely. There we go. So having done the,
I've got the desire to sing now. But anyway,
having done,
and you're coughing as
I'm coughing. I think that's the show telling us to bugger off and shut up.
Yes.
But I'm not going to. So yeah, the Right Voice for You stuff was a huge amount of fun, and seeing the change in people in the class that I went, it really is phenomenal. So, you know, find your voice, have some fun with it, have fun creating, and Fiona and I are both here if you need any help at all in clearing stuff, choosing stuff. You know, I've done loads of stuff in promoting, so if you need any help with that, I'm more than happy to have a session with people showing you the types of software and the places I go that aren't actually, most of them don't cost money, and they're really easy to use, easier than you thought. Even doing Google Hangouts is really easy. Trust me.
Yeah, especially if Alun does it all, it's been really easy. Yeah.
we are at the end. So give ourselves a round of applause. So thank you to everyone who's been watching and listening, and you know, we have been pulling the energy from and the thoughts from where you're at to try and address the things that would be the greatest contribution. So feel free to contact us with any other questions, comments, whatever they are. Bring them on.
Bring on the judgments.
Yeah, bring on the judgments. Ka-ching. Where are we now? We can do that. We'll have loads. Bring on the judgments, people. And we will email you tomorrow with the replay link, so you can listen to this as often as you're crazy enough to.
As often as you choose.
Exactly. So judge away, people. See you soon.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.